Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Phoenix Pod.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da. It's the Phoenix Pod. Pull off into paradise.
Never gets old.
It never does get old. And I realised sort of listening back, because I was going to attempt to make my own sort of Phoenix Pod jingle. And going back over said episode of Phoenix Nights where the jingle does turn up, I realised there's sort of different bits and pieces that pops up. Like there's a carnival winning bell noise, and there's also sort of the sound of a laser gun going off as well in there. But obviously I only have the one mouth, so I can't do it. There's only so much I can accomplish.
I think you manage well, though.
Oh, thank you.
So I couldn't do it. I mean, I've tried.
God loves a trier.
If there's ever a Police Academy reboot, get yourself down to audition. You can be the new Jones.
Oh, it could be.
So, I am of course your host once again, AXC, joined by a man who is half a man.
Ooh, that was very close.
Yeah,
that's the closest it's been for fucking weeks.
Yes, it has. That was it was pretty close last week. Me and Lewis did it, but that was on par.
I think you and Lewis were. It was when I listened back to it, it was pretty much spot on. To be fair, so.
Oh, there you go. Virtual high five.
So he is, of course, stupid. I can't even say allegedly more.
Can't say allegedly, because we get told off now. But yeah,
bloody not Daz, ruining everything, ruining the fun for us.
Cancel culture.
The cancel culture. The word allegedly has now been cancelled. But yes, some people may find me sexy. There you go. We can do that, can't we?
Well, you're married, so that's.
Right, only one person finds me sexy then. And that's what.
You're doing better than me, AXC.
Yeah.
Or actually, you're probably doing better than me. I don't know about AXC's situation.
You might have admirers just from this podcast alone. You just never know.
You only get a bucket and a half.
Exactly. There's someone listening right now just stroking the screen going, "Oh, Lewis. Oh, Lewis."
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have admitted that online there, but oh well, never mind. Anyway.
Anyway, he is of course stupid, sexy Flinders.
Yeah, and it feels like I'm wearing something actually quite apt for this episode. Actually, this might sound daft, but it's a Pulp Fiction t-shirt. Now, you may get why that's apt later on in the episode.
And
by the way, I didn't plan that. That was completely accidental.
And the other voice you can hear, he's of course our resident Stowaway. Up there with Hampton Deck. It's Lewis Ogden.
Oh, hi there. I'm the Stowaway. Of course you are.
I wasn't ready for that.
Exactly. That's why I didn't say anything.
Now, I remember, this is going back to the episode I missed, wasn't it? Episode 4. And I listened back. And my jaw hit the floor how good his Elton John was.
Elton John?
Elton John, Cliff Richard, Elton John, whatever. His Cliff Richard was spot on. I was like, holy crap.
What can I say? I'm to quote Robin Williams from Mrs. Doubtfire, I do voices.
There's a line of work there for you, surely.
I've been told by multiple people in the past. Just a case of getting the foothold in wherever.
Let's get out there. Give it a go.
So we're, of course, on to our season finale of Max-and-Paddy's Road to Nowhere.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's been a journey, but we're going to end it here tonight.
As we find out, Max goes to visit his old friend Billy the Butcher Shannon, who, against Paddy's better judgment, talks Max into letting him tag along for the ride. Original air date, the 17th of December, 2004.
Yeah, so towards the back end of the year.
I was still in college, I believe.
Just over a week before Christmas.
2004, I was just about to fail public services. That's awesome.
And as I've said many, many a times, I was in my final year of primary school.
I'm not old.
Wait ages there, Lewis.
Well,
you're welcome.
I found grey hairs in my beard the other day, so yeah, I needed reminding of that, Lewis. Thank you very much, sir.
You're more than welcome.
So we open the episode with the boys driving along. We've got Paddy driving for a change rather than Max.
Yes, driving relatively quickly, shall we say?
I believe it's probably the second or third time Paddy's ever been at the wheel of the motorhome.
Yeah, it's not been very often. It's more he's more behind the wheel when it's sort of like the high adrenaline sort of like when they're moving along sort of like thing. I've noticed.
So the boys are driving along the status quo. They're having a sing along, but Max seems to be sort of playing lookout as he doesn't notice the speed camera which flashes.
Yeah.
They're literally driving past it. Max is like, speed camera, and obviously like the bulb goes off in the freaking speed camera. And he's like, it flashed. He's like, I do not believe you.
But it says something about like he's just paid for.
It's Paddy sort of having a moan about it. It's like, well, essentially money spinners for the police. Then Paddy's like, I've just paid for the Christmas piss up.
What'll it be, Sarge? Oh, I'll have a whiskey and coke, please, Cock. I'll have a double whiskey, please, Cock. Paddy's paying.
Yeah. Do you not blame it on music?
So, yeah, Max asks if he can't just blame it on the music, which then Paddy decides he's had enough and wants to take action. So,
yeah, it's like Max is just sort of like a case of, it's the music that's to blame. It was G'ing you up. And it's like, Paddy's like,
music.
I don't really think that would hold up in court, Max.
No.
You know, reason for speeding, it's status quo.
Oh, yeah. It's like, can you imagine, like, you're listening to The Prodigy or something, actual speed ticket music? But, yeah, can you let me off? Yeah, because I was listening to Firestarter.
Smack my bitch up or something,
yeah.
So Paddy pulls over and then takes like the weakest looking saw ever to a speed camera, which definitely wouldn't have cut through it.
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely not.
Whilst Max is trying to get out of the camera van and has fallen into a bush.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, because the way that Paddy's parked up is like, you know, everything's like clear and easy, sort of like nothing obstructing his side. But he's parked right up against this fucking bush. So literally, Max gets out, he's sort of like, you know, leaning, and then he just takes like a tumble. Great big massive fucking tumble.
Funny enough, I did that once coming out of a car, and it was like parked up like that. And because it was dead narrow, though, it couldn't be helped. And some reason 2 and 2 didn't add together in my head, and thought to yourself, right. You're nimble enough. You can get over the gear stick and get out the driver's side. But no, I'm going out through the bush. So I did that, not realising it was full of stinging nettles. Ooh. And I have never got out the passenger side that way ever again when it's that close to a bush.
So after they sawed the camera off, they then shot the camera over said bush. Yeah. And we get the opening credits.
Yep.
Bearing in mind, as they're sawing the fucking speed camera off, they've literally got sort of like passing motorists just sort of like beeping, and they're all giving fucking thumbs up to them as they're going along.
Yeah. And there's one where they're actually swinging it about to throw it over the bush. There's a guy that's actually hanging out the car.
Yeah.
It's like, ah! But if you notice as well, if you look on the speed camera and you saw obviously Paddy's supposed to be there soaring away, it's just somehow miraculously just comes straight out the ground like it's not been sawed. There's no stump or anything.
No.
Well, it's also the fact for one of those cameras, it's like you'd have to cut. It's essentially cutting through metal.
Yes.
And there'd be all wires and all sorts of shit going up it. So it's like that Paddy's little hacksaw that he had wouldn't have done anything.
It's a different episode, isn't it, when you see Paddy shooting to the other side of the road with an electric shock, isn't it? Let's be honest.
You're shocked, Paddy!
Paddy flashed! Paddy flashed!
So Max and Paddy are driving past the Angel of the North, discussing why Max wants to go and see someone, as Max just says, "He's a mate." And Paddy says, "He's no mate of mine."
Oh, yeah.
Whilst Max is informing Paddy that he wouldn't be sat there if he didn't get sent down, as Paddy got his job. But I'll give him a pie next time I see him, and that it's Friday night and he wants to be doing a bit of bumping and grinding rather than chewing the fat with Billy the Butcher Shannon.
It's Friday night. Paddy's playtime. It's like, you know why they call him Billy the Butcher, don't you? Max goes, "Because you were a butcher before you were a doorman." Paddy's like, "Really?" It's like, "It's not because he stabbed his care worker 18 times with a potato peeler then." And then Max goes, "Everyone's got their breaking point, Patrick. He told her he didn't like jigsaws."
But then Max says it's all behind him now and he's changed. So then we cut to Billy smashing the shit out of someone with a metal bin.
Yes. He's just moved on from potato peelers, as we'll find out.
But then, as we quickly jump back to the boys, Paddy asks, "Why do you always do what Max wants? We just spent the afternoon in a craft museum." But his Max follows up with, "Do you good that? Bit of history."
So it's shocking what they did to the cotton industry or something like that.
Yeah.
While they're driving down like a Newcastle sort of like high street, which for the record apparently wasn't in Newcastle.
I'd say I'm surprised, but
just finding it now because I found a really awesome website today. They go and talk about. However, when Max, I'll actually directly quote this. This was off rusco.net/max-and-paddy, and there's a direct quote that says, "However, when Max talks about the cotton industry, and Paddy points out that the girls don't wear much because they're driving down the high street where all the clubs are and stuff like that, and there's girls walking around with not much clothing on." And it says there's a kebab shop that they pass called Trojan, which is actually on Higher Market Street in Farnworth, not Newcastle.
Ah.
So yeah, there you go.
So so Paddy's admiring ladies wandering down the street as Max says, "We're going to see Billy. We're going to see Billy because one bird's not going to hurt us." As Paddy then replies with, "That's what George Best said."
Yes, he did. Oh, dear me.
So then they pull up at a club and Max shouts over, "Hey, have you got any jobs for real, doorman?" As Billy recognises Max and walks over.
Oh, no.
As they then shake hands, "How are you? How are you, Sensei?" "Good to see you, Billy. And you, sir." "This is Paddy. Yeah, took me job."
Yeah, just his face just drops as it's like, "Yeah, he took me job."
But that's followed up with, "Long time ago, that, Billy."
Well,
Billy's like literally a case of, "Have you got stuff to do? You know, people to take care of, names to sort." And he's like, No, just passing through. I actually got myself one of these motorhomes." And Billy's like, "All right, where is it?" And Max literally just sort of like, "Does he not get this?" And he's like, "Well, this is it, Billy." And he just sort of like looks at it. And something that I sort of caught in this particular scene, because they sort of like, they pan out to show the entirety of the caravan. Did you spot what they'd done with the bumper?
Yes.
From the last episode.
Yes, a nice little bit of continuity, which I love.
They've done a bit of FFS DIY and just sort of like, you know, strapped it together with like a load of blue rope.
Funny enough, it's the blue rope that was attached to the pig.
Yeah.
They just pulled it up, which means they got nobody off the farmer.
Yeah. To be fair, it's better than shit being in the carburetor.
It's true.
Who's done that?
It's better than being screwed.
As Billy notices the camper van, he's, hey, it is. She's a big girl. And follows up with, does she swallow some juice?
Oh, aye, does she? It's like, oh, yes. And be like, easy rider. And Paddy's like, riders? He's like, you are? Like, riders, there's two of us. And Billy goes, yeah, I know, but then one of them got shot.
But as Max senses the tension, as anyway, you don't know his way to die here first. You gonna buy us a drink or what? But then, as Billy follows up with, I'll get you one, but she might not be old enough. But then we cut to the pub, and Billy's got 2 pints and a pint of orange for Paddy.
Which I love, because, like, for the majority of this season, well, like, bar like a couple of occasions, that's pretty much like, that's pretty much what fucking Max drinks all of the time, is literally pints of orange juice. And I find it funny that sort of like, you know, it's the polar opposite. This is the pint of orange juice is for Paddy, not for Max.
Well, there is the Wolfie's 40th where he necks the thing a glass of whiskey and jumps on stage, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, so.
But yeah, it's just showing how much that Billy does not like Paddy at all.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll buy you a pint, I'm not buying him one.
The first interaction, as soon as Billy puts all the pints down, Paddy's like, so, how was prison?
Yeah.
And Billy looks like he's taking like a bite out of a lime or something, like.
Yeah. So you wouldn't understand, we've done a bit of bird ourselves.
Oh, Billy says to him, you want to last you 7 minutes and split you in two. But then Billy's like, how long? And Paddy's just like, long enough. Matt's just 5 days.
5 days. 5 days. 5 days? 5 days?
Let's try 5 years.
Longer than that.
Yeah, to try 5 years.
Try 5 years. Do you know what it's like to go without a woman for 5 years? And Paddy goes, ask Max, he's done 10. And Max just goes, careful.
But there's also the bit with that where he says, I slept longer than that. He goes, no offence, Max. And he's, none certain, Billy. So, but Billy says he won't be going back now because he's got a kid, and then pulls out a picture. Tyson Lennox. Or I like to call him my little miracle. And
Tyson Lennox.
The picture he hands over is of a white woman with a black child.
A black child.
Paddy then looks at it. That is a miracle.
Looks like his dad, doesn't he? Oh, don't know, Billy. It's hard to tell.
But then as Billy replies, doctor said I couldn't have any kids. I've got something wrong with my balls. It's my jizzes. All my jizzes are swimming in the wrong direction. They were bedlam and me sacked, and my doctor got me on that HMV.
It's the way he says this bit, though. It's like you can tell he's descending into madness. Because he speaks at 10,000 miles an hour.
I love it as well as sort of like, you know, from the moment sort of like the bar scene's begun, on the jukebox has been Queen's Fat Bottom Girls. And it's literally when they get up to sort of like the bit of him talking about his jizzes that the volume gets turned up. And I don't know whether that's sort of like, you know, significant to the scene or whether it's just sort of like one of those of when they've been like filming, the volume's literally just been turned up. So they've literally just kept on going.
Well, normally with audio songs like that, like if it's in the background, they'll put it in afterwards. So whether that was like a deliberate crank it up,
maybe,
yeah, done in post.
Yeah, because it's that thing. If you try and talk over a song like that, they'd get more of the song than they would the actual.
Yeah.
Like the people talking sort of thing, so
possibly.
They always put it in afterwards. So whether it was just a little slip of the finger, it might have been on purpose. There might be a line in the song or something they want to sort of try and relate to the.
I'm gonna have a look at the lyrics for Fat Bottom Girls.
So while you're doing that, I'll crack on with this because Max says, Billy says, oh, my doctor got me on that HMV, and Max says, you mean RVF? But then Billy looks at Paddy and goes, why? Have you been on it?
Yeah, looks directly at Paddy.
But then Paddy's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with my jizzes. They take your eye out.
God.
Well, then, as Max, oh, mine, I've got a kid myself, Billy. But then Billy, and have you? So have I. Tyson Lennox, that's him there. You just showed us Billy
25
seconds ago. But then I'm on my way to see him. Hey, can I catch a lift? And Paddy looks away, and Max is sort of going, I don't know, Billy. Where is he? Christ knows, his mum took him Blockbuster. They've been gone 3 weeks.
And Paddy,
that's a reference.
Paddy, literally, like stone-faced, sat back, arms crossed, is like, well, there's so much choice these days, Billy. I've just had a look at sort of like the lyrics for Fat Bottom Girls. It might be to do with this verse here that I've got, and I am quoting here. Now, I got mortgages and homes, I got stiffness in the bones, ain't no beauty queens in this locality, but I still got my pleasure, still got my great treasure. Hey, big woman, you're going to make a big man out of me. So it's sort of like, maybe that, you know, it's...
I think there is something loosely there.
There is something loosely there, sort of like stiffness in the bones, and got my greatest treasure, which, you know, could coincide with, you know, a kid.
Tyson Lennox.
Yeah, Tyson.
Well, it's kind of...
Tyson Lennox. Do you know what? I've just clocked that name. Mike Tyson Lennox Lewis.
It's like
what do they both have in common? The colour of the skin.
Fucking hell. But I'm wondering if there's like a loose connotation to the song because of like when Billy earlier on said, "Oh, she's a big girl, isn't she?"
Yeah.
But then he's like referring to treasure as like Billy, like Max is Billy's treasure sort of thing because of how sort of obsessive he is with him.
It could be.
Possibly.
Didn't think of that.
So, yeah, Billy's like, oh, we could look for him together, Max. Me and you. And Max is like, in Blockbusters. No, driving around. It'd be a great laugh. As Paddy then says, whoa, you know what they say? What? Two's company. And
Three's not.
Three's not.
You've only got a little motorhome, Billy. I mean, where would you sleep?
You know me, I'll sleep anywhere. Sleep at washing line.
Good, because you're not coming. But then you get, it ain't up to you. It's his motorhome. Well, actually, half of it's mine, so I get half to say. Well, I want Max's half, so you can take your half off and ding.
Yeah, because the last call's bell goes off, doesn't it?
As he's about to say,
last orders, yeah.
He's like, whoa! Calm it down, you two.
So I'm wondering if they did that though, because they dropped the F-bomb later on, so whether it's a case of like they might have said to him like, oh, you can have one in this episode. So
yeah, probably.
Then as Billy says, what do you say, Max? It's be like old times.
Yeah, because it should probably set the scene of sort of like, you know, Max and Paddy are on one side of the table, Billy's on the other. And like Paddy gets up to sort of like, you know, goes up to the bar as sort of like a case of if I don't go, I'm gonna fucking smack him in the face. And Billy just sort of like all in sort of like one movement gets up, sits in Paddy's chair, and sort of almost gives him sort of like a side hug.
Yes, he does. He probably leads into his shoulder, yeah.
Sort of like, come on, Max, be like old times. It's like, well, I know, Billy boy, you know, it's me and Paddy. And Billy just goes, he's too tall for you. And Max is like, is he?
But then he's like, what about your job on the door? You can't just leave that.
Oh, I'll get another
What about it? I'll get another.
It's Paddy in the background,
just like old times. And literally Max just sort of like goes, well, and Billy's like, oh, cheers, Max. Hey, it's got to be good, this. And he's like, oh, yeah.
But then the pans away to Paddy, who's there just going,
No. Oh, fucking, no. Abandon
Yeah.
So then we've got the lads in the RV driving down the street somewhere with Billy guiding them, as he said, just over here will do. And Paddy chimed in with shithole.
Yeah.
I'll just go and get my stuff, and Billy jumps out and walks into the house. As Paddy just says, right, drive off.
No, can't do that.
What? He's not coming with us. Drive off.
It says,
I can't do that, Patrick. Not to a mate. He's not a mate. He's a lunatic.
Yep. And then it cuts to his flat, where he's packing, and normal person would pack. Maybe some underpants. Maybe something. Some change of clothing. Maybe some food even.
Not Billy the Butcher.
Not Billy the Butcher. He gets himself a nice, stereotypical psycho leather bag. And
I was about to say sort of like, a Nike or Adidas sports gym bag.
But then he puts in the first thing he puts in is a pair of nunchucks.
Yeah.
The nunchucks go in, and then he goes up, and then he carefully gets a plant. I think it's
like a house plant.
It's like a big house plant.
He sort of carefully takes his house plant down and puts it in, but then, as I noticed, there's something else in the bag, like a porno mag or some porno VHS or something.
There was something else
clearly hidden away that have been... He might have put them in and go, we'll just film the plant bit because the plant bit seems funnier than the pornos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of thing. And then
think about it, the porno things, it would potentially be a bridge between him and Paddy, and they want to milk that fact that they don't like each other, maybe. So maybe it's to kind of keep that hidden. Possibly,
but if it was me, I would go, what is it, fucking some Peter Kay thing title. So he's like, we've got Robocock, Shaving Ryan's Private.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Actually, like Mr. Softy, if it wrote on them like Softy's Hard Stuff or something like they were like ex-rentals or something like that.
Oh, yeah, he nicked him off Mr. Softy, yeah. That would be amazing. But yeah, he goes and then he puts in a loaded revolver, a massive, great big loaded revolver. But have you noticed as well, if you're looking around his room, it's sort of like he's got like a Bruce Lee poster.
There's a Blade poster, isn't there?
Blade 2 poster, yeah. Which sort of like suggests about his, he's talking about how mentally unstable he is, shall we say. And into his violence and weapons, and I put AKA fucking cracked. So,
but then we cut back to Max and Paddy as like the sort of mid conversation, and we get Paddy over the line of the only reason you wanted to come is because he thinks the sun shines out your arse.
Yeah.
Which Max follows up with, I can remember a time when you thought the same. When?
Yeah, when?
When you had a bit of RSPCT, that's when.
Respect.
It's hard to respect somebody who can't flush a chemical toilet, Max. I did flush it, okay.
I must have a ghost that shits sweet corn then.
So then Billy's leaving his flat and his landlord catches him and he's like, I hope you're not thinking of doing a runner. Not without paying me 2 weeks' rent. As Billy's like, yeah, I've got your money.
It's right here. And he like reaches into his bag and you just hear the gun click.
Yeah.
He's like, oh! Yeah. And you find out what happened to them later.
So then, as Max, he's here now. Paddy just, even though he's got that one tiny bag, Christ, how much stuff have you got?
But he just ignores him, doesn't he?
Well, Billy just goes, shut at you, and he goes, we got this, Max, me and you.
And on the shoulder.
As they pull away, it takes down a picture of Max and Paddy as like they're pulling away.
Yeah, which I've got in my background. Posted it.
On the doors of probably the Neptune Club.
Yeah, more than likely.
And that's the end of part one.
So yeah, we move on to our next location.
Oh dear. So coming back with part two, literally the lads are driving down. We just hear Billy with, "I'm starving." Yeah, I could eat something. Which Paddy follows up with, "Be nothing open at this time."
You got to bear in mind to set the scene that they're driving sort of like 1 o'clock in the morning, on the motorway.
Yeah.
So like, then, they go on.
As Billy then says, "What's this?" as he points to a Little Chef sign, and they pull in. But then we see the view of a woman through the window, like putting chairs on the tables and that.
Like, it's shut. How do you know? It's like, she's putting chairs on top of the table. It's like, yeah.
I'll have a word.
And literally, Billy, because there's, I like to think of myself as the resident outtakes expert for, the Phoenix pod.
Aye.
There's a particular little bit here where sort of like Billy does the thing of sort of like putting his hand on Max's shoulder, just be like, "Let me have a word with her, Max. See if she'll succumb to Billy's charm." I don't know whether you picked that up or not.
Yes.
But in the outtakes, they try it as sort of like a wide shot, so you're seeing all three of them. Yeah. And literally, they're trying to do this bit, and all three of them, throughout the takes, they just keep fucking cracking up. So they literally just have to have like a profile shot of just sort of like Billy the Butcher himself. And even after he does the fucking, the tongue flick there. I don't know whether that comes through or not.
It does.
You can see it, but not as much as like Billy's, but I'm guessing Billy's, he would have just upped the volume on it anyway, like in post. So
yeah, but even through this sort of like this portrait shot, you can just see sort of like Max's shoulder, and it does sort of like rise up as if he's like going
giggling, yeah,
or like snorting. So it wasn't a perfect take.
So then Billy steps out and wanders over, and as he walks past Paddy's window, Paddy just leans out. As Max,
hey, there's no need for that. Billy's going up to the glass door. He's like, "We're shut, Pat. We're shut." He's like, "Come here." He's like, "We're shut." He's like, "I can't hear you. What?" It's like, "I say, we're shut, Pet." And Billy produces this great big massive fucking, 44 Magnum or whatever the fuck it is. And he's like, "No, you're not." It's like, "Ah!" Like, get that fucking cooker on.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of like, "We're in here, Max. We're in here."
We're in here.
"Oh, there you go. There you go. He's not lost it. Working his charm. Come on."
So then we're inside the restaurant, and Billy looks like he's coming back from the toilet as Max is, "Everything all right?" "Yeah, sweet as an up, Max. Just saying to Paddy, she's got heart of gold, and cooking after hours like this brings a tear to your eye."
Oh, here she is. Here she is.
She's coming, here. Yeah, she's coming from the kitchen with these two, like, what's proclaimed later as sort of like Americano breakfasts.
Yes.
And she's literally just sort of like, shaking all over the place. And literally there's like profile shots of Max and Paddy just looking at each other going,
"What the fuck?
Bloody hell, fire. Bloody hell." It's like, and then she goes to get Billy's, like, Paddy goes, "She's shaking like a shitting dog, this woman." And Max is like, "I'm not surprised. The hours that they work here, that they make them work here, Patrick, is disgraceful. Slave labour." It's like, "Bet she's knackered, poor cow."
But as she's putting Max and Paddy's food down, Paddy's like, "Whoa, whoa, steady, cockle, steady." And Max just goes, "All right, Flower, take it easy." And he just goes, "There's no rush." So then,
she goes out and gets Billy's meal, doesn't she, now? Whereas Billy's got his gun sort of like covered up in a napkin on his lap.
Yeah.
And she brings his meal out, puts it on the table, and he just like, come here, he beckons her over, and he just reveals the gun to her and goes, "I'd murder for some tomato sauce."
He says tomato really weird though, doesn't he? He says like tomato or something.
Something like that, yeah. But
I'd kill for some tomato sauce.
And she just brings it and just slams it next to Paddy. That dead clever, then runs off.
So she goes back in the kitchen and brings over some cups and pots of tea.
Aye.
Still shaking like a shitting dog, and she goes to pour Paddy's cup and nearly burns him.
Yeah, tea's going everywhere.
But then as Max says, put the pot down. You're going to have 5 minutes. I'll be mother.
Yeah.
We'll have 5 minutes. But then she's been treated like shit, this lady. And judging by her age, menopause won't be helping either.
Vaginal dryness.
The what? Menopause. Never heard of it.
Time of the month. The change.
Yeah, the change.
The change. Hot sweats. Vaginal dryness. It's like, hey, there might be hot sweats with women when Paddy's around, but there's definitely no vaginal dryness. And literally, Billy just looks at Max and he's like, who's got this? You? He's like, me, Billy. How can I have vaginal dryness? Think about it, you clown. And like Billy's like, oh yeah, you're right. You're right there, Max. Tell you what, you give Quincy a run for his money.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else. No one I've noticed. She's on her own. She's on her own at this time of night. Couldn't get a place to get robbed or anything.
Yeah, where's the manager? And you just cut to him tied up in the office.
I've literally, as you were going through this little bit, I went and I looked up the episode then for Billy's pronunciation of tomato.
Tomato.
Kill for some tomato sauce.
I wonder where that roughly is. I don't think that's northern.
Maybe northern.
Northern, like up there north.
Yeah.
So then we've got Paddy looking for a CD spindle. He picks out a TV theme CD.
Oh, yes.
Hey, look at that. Now we're talking.
TV themes. I better know more than you do.
Billy's like, good at them, me. Knows them all. And hey, you want to be Paddy, I'll tell you that right now. Want a bet? Yeah, I do. Excuse me, love. How much are these CDs?
Oh, you're all right. You have them. You're all right. He's like, oh, we can have them. Oh, thank you.
Heart of gold, this lady.
Salt of the earth, that
Salt of the earth, that's it. Salt of the
earth. Billy just sort of like takes like a load more CDs off the pile as soon as you're all right, you can have them.
He's just fucking walking around just helping himself, isn't he?
Yeah.
So we've got some absolute gold there from Max now. What I've done is I wrote it down for you, Brenda, love. You want to go to your local Citizens Advice Bureau and ask to speak to your ombudsman. Because you can't go on working in these conditions, Brenda. It's slave labour, love. Do you hear me? And she just sort of looks at him. And you need to go to your doctor and get some good HRT. Get some homophobic remedies.
Homophobic? I wrote that in capitals. Homophobic remedies. It's a Potterism. It's a Potterism.
I think I broke Lewis.
Oh, it's just I missed that.
Homophobic remedies.
Yeah, get some good HRT. Get some homophobic remedies. But then it pans to the note Max has written her, which says Citizen Advice Bureau.
Yeah.
But it's Citizen is spelled with an S, and Advice is spelled with a dice, so it's ADISE. Think on, Brenda.
Oh God! So after that point they leave, and as they're driving down obviously one direction on the motorway, they just see a bunch of police cars and vans fly past the opposite direction, and it's something like, "Oh, it's Friday night. Oh, party's started early." And you just see like Billy sort of like look menacingly at the camera, sort of like smirking, almost fourth wall breaking in a way.
But then we cut to a police brief, like a police briefing room where they're talking about what happened the night before.
Oh yes.
It's I think it said 1:15 in the morning, and it's like they were served. What was it? 2 Americano breakfasts and 1 something.
Some at waffle or something. It was a waffle or something.
Florida waffle surprise. I got it written down here.
Yeah.
But if we jump back to the lads playing Name the Tune, as they're there listening along. Sons and Daughters.
Yes, the theme tune to Sons and Daughters. Who remembers that, by the way?
I don't.
I do. Oh God,
you're old, so
yeah. I remember. I remember that being on an ITV that afternoon. It'd be on just literally. You come in from school, And if you were early enough, sometimes you'd catch like Thomas the Tank Engine, what have you. But literally the programme just before CITV was on, Sons and Daughters, every day.
Right.
Plus you can't beat a bit of Thomas the Tankin' Dankin'.
Absolutely. A bit of Tots TV, why not? Oh.
Well, it was. It's quite interesting that they're doing like another TV theme bit because there's Jonathan Ross it's on YouTube somewhere where Peter Kay's on Jonathan Ross and he does this whole bit where he's like, "Oh yeah, you like your old TV and stuff, don't you?" He's like, "Oh yeah. Every Sunday, watch a bit of Bully with Mum and that," and then he starts going through these old themes. He's like, "Oh, everyone like that's Knight Rider. Everyone obviously knows that." And he plays this other one. He's like, he gets like two other straight away, and he's listening to this one of them. He's going, "I know it, but I don't know what it is." And then Jonathan was like, "Oh, that one's a triangle." He's like, "Triangle? That's not triangle."
Yeah, but ironically, it's not him that's playing it on this episode. It's Paddy and Billy.
Paddy and Billy, yeah. Because like Billy only says sort of like, Sons and Daughters as soon as like Sons and Daughters is sung in the actual theme tune.
Oh yeah.
Paddy's just sort of like, "You're not having that." They literally just said. It's like, Max, tell him. It's like,
give him
come on, Paddy, give him the point. It's Sons and Daughters. It's like, yeah, well, it's still 12-2 to Paddy. And the only two that you've got are Porridge and Bad Girls. And I wonder why.
But then as he's doing it as well, you see the scorecard.
Yeah.
What he's written down, and it's like Paddy 12, Dickhead 2. And there's a picture he's drew of like a face with a dick on it. And I actually did that in my notes because I'm a fucking knobhead.
Well, he does that. He does actually. He's got Dickhead written down, but he's got Dickhead crossed out. He's had to write Billy above it.
Yeah.
And so, I think he's only counted like each correct guess for Billy as half a point because like there's a half next to each sort of like 1 point that he's got, just to be even more of a prick.
Yeah.
So then we go back to the brief where it says Miss Brenda Vickers was forced at gunpoint, took 2 Americano breakfasts and a Florida waffle surprise. Jumping back with the lads, we kept Billy trying to get another theme. But the officers know of Billy Shannon already, and after visiting his flat, officers found his landlord and wife wired up to the mains.
Which is what happened to him. So
then, back with the lads, Billy's still playing the name that tune, and he's play your cards right.
Play your cards right. And Paddy just
goes,
No, it's Bruce Forsyth. Play your cards right.
No.
All one for Paddy.
No, he literally right. He says, and I quote, "No way, you slag, I'm having that," and then a headlocks Paddy.
And you literally just have Max just going, hey, it's TV themes. Calm down, both of you. I'll crack both your heads together.
Yeah. They calm down lawyer services. Let's go get a drink and calm down for love of God.
Which is very reminiscent of the pub quiz episode. You know, when sort of like,
shall we win some lager?
Right, who's for ginsters?
Oh, you're for ginsters, yeah.
Like, Paddy's like, "No, you're all right. I'm going to stay here." And Billy's like, "Yeah, well, I'm taking this with me." And it's the freaking the CD case.
So then we're in the service. Billy's at the counter. Max is grabbing a pasty from the fridge and the notice of the paper with the headline, "Roadside Cafe in armed terror with mugshots of all 3 men." And something about a stolen speed camera underneath.
Stolen speed camera?
Yeah, it says stolen.
All right.
So, Paddy's then rooting through Billy's bag and pulls out the nunchuck. Says, "What is going on?" And she then pulls out the picture of Max and Paddy, but Billy's got stuck his own face over Paddy's.
Oh, yeah.
He's a lunatic.
A lunatic, yeah.
Well, Paddy steps out as Max approaches. "Have you seen this? That's Billy's head. Who's done that? Who do you think?" And then Max says, "Have you seen this?" As he shows Paddy the paper, and Paddy's like, "That's us." And then Billy appears. "Never mind any of that. Have you seen this?" As he shows him the gun.
Yeah.
"Put the gun down, Billy. You can have the extra point."
You can have the extra points.
It's not about points anymore.
Have you been going through my stuff, Paddy? He's got the picture there. He's like,
No.
No.
Puts it behind his back.
Won't be doing it again. We're going to teach you a lesson as he cocks and points the gun.
Dave,
is that you?
Is that you? And Billy sort of like looks round and Paddy sort of like scoots into the motorhome. He's just sort of like.
But it's this line from Max. Put the gun down, Billy lad. It's crossed the line, Max. It's crossed the line.
He's crossed the line. You robbed that little chef. Jesus, Bill, you should have said something. I'd have worn some soup up.
But then Paddy seems to scarping out the far side of the motorhome as he runs past Max in the background. As Billy notices and chases, just get Max saying, "Oh shit!"
As they run into the service station. I love it as well. Sort of like, you know, Paddy's like literally doing his impersonation of the Flash, fucking belting in.
He's gone, yeah.
Billy's right behind him with the freaking gun going, "Oh, Paddy!"
Paddy! Just hear bang.
Waving his fucking gun around. And then you've literally just got sort of like Max in the background with his fucking the paper and these two ginsters. And he actually drops one and he goes, "Bastard."
He goes, "Bastard, me pasty."
Max runs after him. He dropped his pasty. He just here, "Oh shit, me pasty."
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think that was scripted at all, by the way. I think it's just something he did and he kept it because it was funny.
So, back with the police, they get notified there's been reported shots fired at services.
Got called. It's like, right, okay, let's get down there, men. And Sandra.
There's a bit here as well, though. Is the guy comes in, he's interrupting sort of like a private conversation, isn't he? It's like she's jealous here. I'm just flesh and bone. So it's like, I wonder what the conversation was all about. I wonder.
So Paddy's running through people at services, followed by Billy, who fires again, with Max sort of chasing awkwardly, doing his little dad dance, run like he does. And then they seem to be on some sort of like the sort of crossover bridge to get to the far side, as like Paddy is sprinting. Yeah. Billy fires, seemingly shooting Paddy as he goes down.
Yeah, he sort of like
takes a horrendous bump down the stairs, even though you can't see the actual bump. Like, that would fucking hurt, man.
Yes, it would.
And we get, "Paddy! Paddy! You've shot Paddy!" Followed by Billy, "It's better now. It's just us two.
We can be together.
But not in a gay way."
He were right. You're not a friend, you're a lunatic. Oh, don't say that, Max. As we hear sirens in the background, and you, "Do you hear that?
They've come for you.
That's the police. They're coming for you, son. Now give me the gun." But I can't do that, Max. As he starts like pointing the gun at Billy, and Max just said, "Come on, Billy. Don't be a hero." "If I can't have you, Max, no one can have you." And he aims the gun at Max.
Not in a gay way.
I'll shoot us both. We can be together one way or another, but not in the gay way.
It's like,
right, we'll do it then.
Do it. No. Literally, Paddy comes behind with a freaking
whacks him with a cone.
It's like it's a cleaning cone, whatever, like literally wraps it around his face.
Yeah, it's like a proper lighter's foot wet floor cone. Just have it.
Just sells it like the fucking Undertaker.
I thought you were never going to hit him. Are you like, all right?
Oh. It's like, Max is like, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "I will be once I get this bullet out my ass." And you just see like he's been shot in the right cheek. And Max is like,
proper laughing about it.
So they're getting quizzed by the police chief at the end about what's gone on, and they're saying they could do them for these charges and dangerous driving, all this sort of thing. But Max and Paddy are more focused on the big screen behind them, which is showing footage of them two cutting down the speed camera and chucking it.
You just suddenly hear do 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 do, and it's just like the crime time.
Crime time.
Yeah, another throwback there.
I love it as well as sort of like, you know, the start of it, like the police chiefs going sort of like, you know, armed robbery and you knew nothing about it. And Max is literally just there, just like going, we didn't know anything. All we wanted was something to eat. Isn't that right, Paddy? And Paddy's like, yeah. Which, is true, but the way that they answer it is just sort of like so innocent. It's like, just wanted something to eat.
Yeah, we didn't know he was robbing the place.
But yeah, the crime time feature of like security camera footage of them freaking sawing the
speed camera.
The speed camera and chucking it in the bush.
So did we mention about swinging it in the bush?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it at the start briefly.
Yeah. It's the way they do it. It's like a 1, a 2, a 3, and away, and it just disappears. And it's like, I wonder if anyone was parked on the other side of that tree.
So as the police chief turns around to watch what they're staring at, he turns back and he notices they've gone. And so there's them driving out the service and you say, go on, get your foot down.
Yeah. Where are we going? Casualty. On Friday night, it'll be chocker. He's like, what do you want to do it then? It's like, you might be my best friend, Paddy, but I'm not sucking a bullet out your ass.
And roll credits.
And that's the end of the episode and the end of the season.
Yeah, we had a special version of Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere, didn't we, at the end of this? I have no idea who it did it.
It doesn't tell you who did it, strangely.
I've got a hunch it could be someone like Tony Christie, but I could be wrong.
I don't think it was Tony Christie.
Wouldn't be
shocked. Sounds like him, but...
Yeah, I have no idea who did it. But yeah, it was a nice version with minor swearing, might I add.
Yeah.
There was no swearing in it. So they changed the lyrics up a bit, maybe. But yeah, it was cool to hear. But yeah, that's the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yay?
Yeah. I say the end. So shall we talk about how we felt at the end of this episode in particular, and then we can move on to how we feel about the series in general?
Oh no, yeah, I've literally just looked it up. It was performed by Tony Christie.
Get in, that was a hunch.
Right.
That was a hunch.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. But yeah, how do we feel about this episode?
Better than I remember it.
Agreed.
I'll be honest, because I don't know whether we probably didn't say before we started. Well, I definitely remember saying before we started recording. I remember this being sort of like, being a serviceable finale, but I didn't remember it being as quotable as it has turned out to be.
Absolutely agreed. For me, it's a lot of the shit that Billy says and a lot of the shit that Billy does that makes this episode so memorable and such. It's just genuinely funny, just the shit that he says and the shit that he does. His mannerisms and the way he sort of like treats Paddy and wants all of Max's attention. He's basically a lovesick ex who just can't accept that the person they adored has moved on. Added to the fact that he's absolutely batshit crazy, and it's a perfect mix. The scenario, the little chef was fucking perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely perfect. Which, by the way, we've not said where that little chef was, because this was set in the northeast, this episode, wasn't it? And this little chef, actually, through doing a wee bit of research before the start of this episode, I recently learned there's actually a fucking wiki page for Little Chef. And it has every single Little Chef that was ever opened on there. And I managed to find this Little Chef, which apparently was the 6th in the UK ever to be opened. And it's based in Astley, which is nowhere near the northeast. It's actually in between Manchester and Liverpool. And it was open before 1965, but sadly closed in 2010. So,
much like all of Little Chef.
Yeah, but apparently now on there is a BP petrol station. There's a Londis and a Costa Coffee. And a Zest Indian restaurant, so it's not empty. So
But the problem is, if you ever pull into that services, the only thing you can really say is, right, who's for Ginsters?
Yeah. So this is it. Apparently, so I've just doing a little bit of reading on this because I've got it here. It says, the Little Chef that Astley closed in 2010 and has since been operating as an independent known as Zest, which is an Indian restaurant. Up until closure, Astley was believed to have been the second oldest Little Chef traded on Britain's road network. So there you go. So it wasn't the sixth one, it was the second. So, but it was based in Astley, not the Northeast. A bit like a lot of the things in max-and-paddy based mostly around in the Northwest.
That's what still throws me about, like, is it episode 2? And it's like, no, episode 1. Is it episode 1? This is what we throws in episode 1 because of Middlewood. Middlewood. We're in the middle of a wood.
Yeah, it's
and
episode
Middlewood is not actually that far from bloody Bolton itself.
Exactly. It's like you're on the run, but you're on the outside of it. But yeah, I remember that.
I'm on the run, but I'm 10 minutes from home. Like,
absolutely. But yeah, this episode, it was paced perfectly. For me, it's the best episode I've done on this podcast for Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere. Doesn't mean it's the best episode of Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere, though, because the episode I missed is the best episode.
Yeah.
The most memorable, the most quotable, you name it, you know. But this, for me, it's better. I think, did we say that the pig episode was the second best episode? Up to that point. Something like that.
I think we might have done.
Yeah, but I think this one tops it. So I will rank it as like my second favourite episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's a really, really good episode.
Well, I watched the pig episode yesterday, but my brain has been frazzled all this week, so I didn't really take anything in from that episode apart from the cow. Cow!
Rabbit's hooves, not its tits.
So,
covered in milk, man.
Well, it's like when you guys like what's talking back about it is like Lewis saying like the bit in the outtakes. It's like is Peter Kane's pulling back boot was here. Being Paddy's like, bit hard that kick. And he's like, oh, that was funny that.
Funny that kick.
And it's like that turned out to be like better than the actual episode. And it's like a minute long clip or whatever. Like, but yeah, this episode was good. Like, I remember watching it originally when it first aired. And the only bit that ever stood out to me was, get that fucking cooker on.
Yeah, that's the most quotable line.
Yeah.
I mean, people would have probably used. I remember people using that for years. I remember, so I'll go get that fucking cooker on, or you know, variants of that quote because it stands out. It stands out as a phrase. So
see, the most quotable bit of that episode for me for years was always, she's shaking like a shitting dog. This woman.
There is that as well. I actually wrote that in my notes before the 9 came up. I was like, because I'm used to she's shaking like a shitting dog. It's part of my vocab. Yeah. So. But yeah, I can't really put a negative anywhere on this episode. It was just brilliant. I love even the little touches, like the little continuity where they tied up the bumper from the last episode, using the pig's lead. I love that little bit, little nuances and things like that. Mm-hmm. Like it was the little touches, like the picture. You think he's just taken the picture away. And then all of a sudden you see it pop up later and he's actually cut his face out and stuck it on. Yeah. Like, yeah, this guy's a fucking psycho. Mm-hmm. You know, it's little bits. I absolutely love this episode. Love it. But yeah.
Well, I wasn't looking for the Phoenix Nights live show that he did.
Oh, yeah.
To try and find out when that actually was. But like in terms of the actual, because it was, I don't know if it meant like, if it was just them doing like bits from the show that people remembered, or if it was like an entirely new thing, which I think it was more of a new thing from what I'm reading, and that was done in 2015. But looking at the cast list, it just says here Peter plays Brian Potter and Max, But then there's no. Oh yeah, Paddy's in it as well. So whether it's like they come back into it for the live show somehow, I don't know, because I never got a chance to see it, unfortunately.
No, he never did.
So
They cut it short, didn't they, because of Ted Robbins' heart attack, didn't they?
yeah, it was the tickets came out for it. I remember talking to my mate about it. It's like, oh, do you want to go and see it? And he's like, I don't know. I won't really fancy going and seeing Phoenix Nights live, sort of thing. Like, he's like, I don't know what it'd be like. And he's like, oh, for 40 quid at the time, I think it was. He's like, it's a lot of money for it to possibly be shit. But I did read if we were started with like an absolutely massive stair lift that Brian gets apparently stuck on, but apparently he was stuck on a stair lift for about 15 minutes. And it took like the emergency services to get him down.
That's brilliant.
And there was something about he like at some point wails over to like the British Sign Language interpreter asking if she like they know the sign language for something like knobhead and something else. And then like rave, apparently there's a bit with Rave On where he did like a mini DJ setting like it was like the theme from Jim will Fix It.
Oh no!
And then songs from Rolf Harris and Gary Glitter.
Oh no!
But I don't know what else happens in the show because there's nowhere anywhere I can find like the actual synopsis or plot of what the actual show is. So I don't know how Max and Paddy came into it, sort of thing. So
was there any part of it where Spencer appeared where he was saying how ashamed he was of the episode?
I don't think so. I just had the cast list up and I closed it. So.
Oh dear. But so yeah, the season's over. So
yeah,
what's our thoughts on the season in general?
I think for me it started off good. Had a bit of a dud, sort of like in the middle-ish, but then like the last 3 episodes like completely redeemed it for me. Going back and watching it, I wouldn't say it's as good as Phoenix Nights, but I still very much enjoyed watching it. I got plenty of laughs from rewatching this.
I somewhat echo that. I agree. It's not as good as Phoenix Nights. I mean, the pinnacle for me is Phoenix Nights season 2. Yeah, that's my funniest thing. That series that I feel he's done. Mm-hmm. It's on a level, I would say, not quite as good as Phoenix Nights season 1. What I do remember, though, is like I remember watching this back in the day, like 2004, 2005, maybe 2006, when I had the DVD originally, and I've not watched it since. Now, I've always had a inkling, like obviously being a Peter Kay fan, the series that he's done. I've always thought fondly of remembering watching this series and wanting to watch it again and thinking, I really love that series. Watching this now, it's made me realise, yes, I enjoyed it, but maybe it wasn't as good as my nostalgic feelings was making me being allowed to feel. I put it on this pedestal, like say, Ned, this is fucking like A-grade pinnacle comedy gold. When in reality, there are lulls in that, and it's not so great. And like you say, the latter half of this series elevates the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because the first episode was okay, and then I fucking shit on the second episode, if we remember.
Well, I don't think it was so much shit on the second episode. It was the third episode that we really shit on.
Those 2 episodes weren't great. The second episode was okay because it was introducing Tina, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's in the third episode where you had Tina sort of like...
It was the dramatic episode.
The dramatic episode where Tina was as wooden as a table. You know, it wasn't great. And And yeah, I did not enjoy that. And I was like, this is one of the lowest. Well, it's not quite as bad as the last 2 episodes of Peter Kay thing bad, but it was quite bad. And literally, you had that scene where he stole the school bus, and essentially that redeemed the episode to the point where, yeah, you need to see it to see how they ended up in prison.
Yeah.
And then obviously you had the low point of the season there, and then all of a sudden, boom, the best episode of the series is episode 4.
Yeah.
So, but then it stays on a relatively high level from that point onwards. So it's one of them. But overall, I would recommend it.
Yeah, I would recommend it as well.
I would recommend it. There is laughs to be had. I mean, there are better episodes, but it's the same with everything. You know, there's going to be good episodes. There's going to be less good episodes. And this is prime example of that. So, but yeah, wholeheartedly recommend go out and watch it.
Yeah.
Is it me? All right, yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
It is you.
Is it me?
Just to follow up on the Phoenix Knights cast, you've got Brian Potter and Max, Jerry St. Clair, Kenny Senior, Young Kenny, Holy Mary, Rayvon, Les Allen, Den Perry, Paddy, and Clinton Baptiste. So no
Brilliant.
Spencer.
Oh well, he's probably too
Shock
ashamed.
horror.
I can say he was probably too ashamed to appear.
Yeah, for me it was like, I think I watched Max and Paddy when it first came out in 2004 on TV. I don't think I watched it again for like at least a couple of years or so after, because this was 2004. I think, well, later than that, to be fair. I think it might have been even later. Yeah, probably 4, maybe 6 years after I watched it, if it was on TV again or something. But it was one of them sort of, for me, it was like an afterthought. It's like, well, like, because I love Phoenix Knights, and like that Peter Kay thing had its moments.
Yeah.
But, like, it was just like, Max and Paddy. But then, like, going back, there are like some brilliant moments in it. Like, but it was like the only bits I ever took away from it were like, I'll do you dentist a favour, knock them bastards out.
Yeah.
Up to then it's like the what's he called? Raymond the Bastard in prison.
Oh yeah, everyone. Yeah, 60-40
like,
to Raymond. Yeah.
And then just like the whole, like, for me, episode 5 was pretty much like an afterthought, because it was just filler between prison and Billy. So they could have easily just done something else with episode 5, really. Like the pig was just...
Yeah, it is a very interchangeable episode, but I still think that I still think there's like material behind it that, you know, they took like such a nothing concept and for the most part made it work.
I mean, in general, what you could do, you got the 3 episodes of 2, 3, and 4, which are sort of like a mini sort of story arc for themselves.
Yeah.
But then any other episode, episode 1, 2, 1,
5 and 6.
1, 5, and 6, you can swap them around any way you wanted.
Well, I would have liked it to assume, like, if they'd at least maybe scrap the pig episode, put Billy at this episode number 5, and then had like number 6 to do like where they end up going back to Bolton or something for some reason.
Yeah,
like
they sort of like they confront what's the bloody name?
Brian Potter.
No.
Fanny.
No. Yeah, that's it. They confront Fanny and sort of like go toe to toe with her hitmen, so to speak.
Max goes a full on Steven Seagal on him.
It just turned out to be like Anson Beck or something.
It's like we're on the fire at the sniper fire on Goose Green, all over again.
They could have had it like Anton Beck and be like, "Is that him?" Yeah. Like, shit, I think I've killed him.
All the twist is they turn around. There's hitmen after them.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
So.
But,
yeah, overall it was an alright season to watch through again. But it's one of them, like, if I watch Phoenix Knights again down the line, I wouldn't instantly jump to my feet and think, I'm going to go and watch Max and Paddy now.
Yeah, it's not integral sort of thing. It's like the other thing I could compare it to is like, you know, if it's video gamey sort of thing, but Mass Effect. You play Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. then if you feel like it, you can go on and play Andromeda. Or if not, you're not missing out. Do you know what I mean? You're not missing out. It's like Andromeda's the spin-off. It's like...
No, do you know what? I'd sort of like, I'd equivalent it to, keep that format of like 1, 2, and 3. You can go and play the DLC if you want to, but it's not like
integral to the
experience. It's not integral to the experience because, Andromeda is a piece of shit, really.
Well, it's also that kind of thing with like, because if you watch that Peter Kay thing and you've never seen anything else before, and it's like you watch like the club episode.
Eyes Down,
yeah. In the club, the Phoenix Club, the Neptune Club? Yeah, you watch that
Neptune.
one.
Yeah.
So if you watch that one, say, and then it's like, oh, well, there's this one called Phoenix Nights, so I best watch that one. But then if you watch Phoenix Nights, it's like, oh, I best watch Max and Paddy.
Yeah.
And there's that sort of follow-on thing, or is it? But if like you just jump straight in it, like, oh, I'm just gonna watch Max and Paddy just because it's on TV. And it's like the prison episode, and it's like, why is the guy in a wheelchair? Like, why is he incredibly racist and like a bit of an arsehole sort of thing? Like, you wouldn't get it, so you'd then have to go back and watch it, Phoenix Nights, to understand why Brian Potter is the way he is, sort of thing. So, but
yeah, good. At the end of the day, we all like it, but it's a spin-off at the end of the day. And let's be honest, spin-offs aren't meant to be as good as the source material. Let's be honest, they never ever are. I mean, take Breaking Bad, for example. Breaking Bad is a fucking masterpiece. It took me a while to get into it, but it is a masterpiece. Better Call Saul is great, but it's not the same. It's not as good as Breaking Bad was. But it's still a really good program. This is the same.
Yeah.
You could have gone the other way and done a prequel where they could have had the misadventures of Brian Potter in the Neptune Club and how that fell apart. You could have had that. Or the Aquarius.
I would have liked to have seen more of like Billy, to be fair. I know he's in episode 3.
Yes. Oh no, 2. When he's talking about Tina.
2 with the flashback.
He's in episode 2 with the flashback, but then like other than that, he just pops up in this episode. It's like, right, I've not seen him for God knows how long, 10 years or whatever. I'm gonna go meet him for a drink just because. There's like no prior setup to this other than
no.
Why are you going to see him? Oh, he's my mate. Right, and like
yeah.
He's also knowing exactly where he was at any one time without having any way of contacting him as well.
Yeah.
Just turned up out of the blue, it's like, oh, I knew exactly where you were after 5 years and not ever seen you. But it's one of them.
So Max and Paddy.
Get it watched. It's enjoyable.
Done.
It is done. Well, technically not done. Because there's one more thing that Max and Paddy did.
Yes, and unfortunately, due to the old pandemic, you're on your own there, son.
I know. I'm on my Billy Tad.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on my Billy Tad. So we will do this at some point. And you will have the honour of commenting along the way. Why not?
You'll have to do it. You'll have to upload it, and we'll do a commentary.
Oh, don't do that to me, sir. I need some banter with this.
Are we going to give context to this particular thing of what we initially had planned out for?
Yes, we had this planned out like in the beginning of the global bastard happening, because we didn't think it was going to go on for this long. Let's be honest, right? When we first started doing this pod, we started planning it out. We planned out we was going to do Phoenix Nights to begin with, and then we realised shit, we've got a hit here, so we're going to go right. We're going to go right back. And we're
Not to mention, I planned this podcast 3 years ago.
Yes, he did. He did. He spoke to me about this 3 years ago.
And I mentioned it to Paul, and the look on Paul's face, and I just said, "What about a podcast on the Phoenix Nights?" And it was, and it's like, no one else has done it. We'll be the first. And it's like, I don't think it'll work. And it's like, fuck you.
Yeah. We got listeners.
Shit house.
Yeah, we got listeners, and I've got to say, thank you.
Bloody shit house.
Yes. I am a shit house, but our listeners aren't. And I want to thank them for actually sticking around and actually backing us and seeing us all the way out, all the way through. You know, it's been a journey, shall we say?
Yes, thank you, loyal listeners.
Yeah, but we have a little treat lined up because, like I say, as we were talking about, we had a little bit of a plan where we thought, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So we started off with Phoenix Nights, and we'd obviously did Peter Kay thing, Phoenix Nights season 2, moving on to this. And I did hint at maybe doing a video. Because it's a certain thing that they released, which is a bit odd. It's a bit of an oddity. Where Max and Paddy decided, well, not Max and Paddy, but obviously Peter Kay and paddy-mcguinness, they released their own fitness video.
In character,
in full fucking character. And I said I would do it, and I believe we roped Christ into doing it, didn't we, at one point?
Maybe if I wasn't to join in with you.
Yeah, this is what the original plan was, because we were all going to meet up, and we was all like, going to get it on film. We're going to film it. We're going to have the video going on. We was going to have it on in the background. Obviously, I was going to do it. Christ was going to do it. I was even going to go get the Pakistan cricket top if I could, but you know, times are hard and all that. But yeah, unfortunately, because of the global bastard, we're not able to do that. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing it alone. I need to actually watch it first and see what equipment I need. So I need to go and watch it, because I've only ever watched it once. And if I remember correctly, it was fucking hilarious.
This is it's one I've not actually seen, to be fair. But then the fact it came out, because around the time it came out, it was like every celebrity and the mum was doing a bloody workout DVD.
Yes, they were.
And so they jumped on the bandwagon. And
I believe my mum has a Davina McCall fitness DVD. I believe it's on the bookcase over
there. Of course, the DVD in question is Max-and-Paddy. It's The Power of Two.
It is. Lewis is getting his Davina McCall thing. But, yeah, this is called The Power of Two. And for some reason, you're walking past it in the shop, you have to look at it because the box is like neon yellow. So it's a proper ugly, garish thing. And yeah, I will be doing this at some point.
There you go. Davina, body buff.
Body buff. Here's the thing, though. If I do this Max and Paddy fitness DVD, will I be buff?
We might find out.
And also, there is an added extra to this DVD. Now, when I watched this DVD for the first time, I completely had it legitimately. And
hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah, I didn't have access to the extras. But there's an extra half-an-hour workout on this DVD. It's Brian Potter in a wheelchair doing wheelchair exercises.
Oh my God.
I have never seen this, and I need to see it.
This sounds fucking amazing.
Yes, it does.
This sounds like that bloody BBC Two advert, was it? That it used to be the Paralympian. Yeah. And he's coming on. Are you doing that? And he tries it, just goes bang.
Yeah, it's on the extras for season 2 of Phoenix Nights.
Yeah,
you can actually see, because I remember filming it for you guys while watching it and absolutely wetting myself laughing. But yeah, it was. Oh God, he's just like, oh, that's fancy, that was all. And then obviously he starts doing the wheelie, just with full back and literally flat back. So there we go. Lewis has got it on his phone.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. He's rolling in. He's wiggling. He's sort of turning around. Is this the right one?
I don't know. Well, it's the compilation of like.
Oh yeah, he's trying to join in with the guys who obviously play Murder Ball.
Hang on.
Here we go. This is the one.
I think it's this one.
This is the one where he rocks back and just goes straight back. He's like, way back.
And obviously
I'll post the video on the page when this episode goes live.
It's absolute brilliance.
Just before we wrap up, though, I think, gents.
Yes.
if anything, what's probably been your favourite episode overall so far? We still have some other bits in the pipeline to record yet, folks. The Phoenix Pod ain't done just yet.
Well,
we have more to come.
Well, the Phoenix Pod isn't dead. It will rise from the ashes. Favourite episode so far? Ooh, that's all encompassing. For me,
we'll go per season if you want, but
no, I do have one overall. Definitely one overall. It's Phoenix Night Season 2, and it's the one where they go to get the beer.
The beer, the dickhead.
That's the one. That's my favourite one, I think.
It's the
Rule Britannia!
The Family Fun Day.
And the Family Fun Day is a very, very close second.
No, I think it's the. I think that's the same episode. I'm pretty certain that's the same episode.
Oh, it is.
Yes, it is.
Episode, yeah, so yes, it is.
Because I distinctly remember not remembering that I'd reviewed that particular episode, and it's definitely Family Fun Day.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's two scenarios on their own, which are comedy gold. I mean, Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere is essentially, it's almost like a prototype, that episode, for Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere.
Yeah.
It's almost like Peter Kay's gone, do you know what? Their escapades in France are getting the beer and then coming back with it and coming back with Stowaways. You know, it was funny and it was just them two and it worked. Maybe they could work as a series on their own. And I genuinely think that episode sowed the seeds in Peter Kay's head to do a spin-off.
Yeah.
I genuinely
wouldn't
do.
be surprised, yeah.
Yeah. And just like I say, that scenario in itself would be funny in one episode in Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere. But then throw into the mix, you got the Family Fun Day. And it's like, again, it's the old adage in it of £2 of bologna in a £1 bag, but this actually fits and it's snug.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, it's that by a mile. By a mile.
Okay. Well, if we're going by seasons, I would say season 1 of Phoenix Nights, definitely like the fire safety episode because you got Keith Lard and Clinton Baptiste.
Yeah, that's a juggernaut of an episode.
I'm getting the word.
Nonce.
Big ball guy stands.
He's actually on in Blackpool very soon as well. Very soon. He's in July.
Yeah.
Him and Mick Miller, is it?
Yeah. Is it the Horseshoe in Pleasure Beach or?
No, it's at the Leighton Institute, I believe.
Oh shit.
So
that Peter Kay thing, I would probably say Eyes Down. So the one in the bingo hall.
Agreed. Agreed.
I know you have a soft spot for Mr. Softy Top, but I mean it's sort of like the eyes down, sort of like, you know.
It's a more complete.
We're never for a time for sex. We're too busy having babies.
It's the more complete episode, isn't it? I mean, Mr. Softy Top is funny just because how angry he gets over the stupid situation.
For me, Mr. Softy Top, it's a good episode. And I love seeing him flip out towards the end of now, but it's not actually my favourite. It's up there because it was the first episode I watched because it came on a free DVD from like a newspaper.
Yes.
And it's like, this is fucking hilarious. Mm-hmm. It's like, have something, you stupid bitch. Fuck off. And then just Jesus bastard.
I would probably say season 2 of Phoenix Nights. I don't know why, but I really, really, really enjoyed the pub quiz episode.
Yeah, that's funny.
I don't know whether it's just because, you know, there's stuff like, I suffer from pyrophobia, so what am I afraid of? And Max and Paddy's answer is pirates.
Pirates, yeah. Trying to win some lager.
Them naming the Magnificent Seven. It's like, okay, here we go. Corbin. Bronson.
You Brenner.
You're Brenner. Ah. And then Sneezy, dopey, bashful, well, shitting. And then I think for me, Max and Paddy, honestly, you can't beat the prison episode.
You can't.
You cannot beat the prison episode. Like, you know, One, because it's a quality episode, and two, because I found another impression I can do. Hi guys, fancy a game of tennis, mixed doubles.
It's three things in life, things that are certain in life, isn't it? Is birth, death, and the prison episode of Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere being the best episode of that series. It's the three things.
Yeah.
You can't argue it.
So that's my quadruple.
What about your quadruple then, Paul, before we...
Go on then. Season... I'll do it chronologically if I can. So that Peter Kay thing, for me, the best one was Eyes Down. But I'm going to give an honourable mention for the worst episode of that series, and that was the Mark Park one. By a mile. It was...
Mark Park was worse than Leonard?
I would say so, because at least with Leonard you had John Wayne, and that was a genuinely spit out your coffee sort of moment. But...
And there was also Ted Robbins as the shopkeep, just sort of like going, do you know how much these are? I was like, do you fucking mind? I'm doing an interview here.
Have you got any poppers?
To counter-argue your point, like that is a real, like a fucking hilarious bit with the John Wayne bit. But then in the Lone at the Top, you do have the full songs in the extras.
Yeah, but that's in the extras though, not in the actual episode. That's the problem.
Well, but even still, he does the bit of the song in the episode, which doesn't make the full cut. But the fact is, like, it's actually riling up the bloody the guys that have flown over.
Yeah, there's that. But the problem with that episode I've got is, yeah, you have characters that are genuinely supposed to be unlikable, like Mr. Softy Top and what have you,
yeah.
But they're funny about it. Mark Park just comes across as a dickhead, and he's not funny. I don't find that character funny. It just doesn't connect with me whatsoever. So I'm like, yeah, the music video made me chuckle a little bit. The way the African guys reacted, he was yeah, okay. But there wasn't anything else of note in that episode, really. So, oh, look at this, I got the car, it's got Mark Park, and it's like, if that's the best you've got, then...
Fair point, yeah.
It's not for me. Best episode, season 1 of Phoenix Nights. Oh, I don't know. I always quite like the last episode. It's quite... Yeah. Season 2, yeah, I've already said it's the Family Fun Day one. And Max and Paddy Road to Nowhere is easily the prison episode. By a mile.
Mm-hmm.
By a mile. But yeah, that's mine.
For mine, so I'll go chronologically. So that Peter Kay thing, possibly the actual In the Club episode.
Yeah, that is a strong episode, to be fair.
Well, you got bits like we're not having him again. I told you last time. It's blue. It's filthy. It's fucking foul mouthed. But then also like the windy dick at the end of the guy just doing the
the windmill.
Which I made the mistake of. I was doing the notes for that episode. My brother walked in and he's like, "What's this? What's this you're watching?" Like, "Oh, it's just that Peter Kay thing. It's the windy dick." And he made me rewatch it, and he sat down and he's there pissing himself.
I think there's an actual extended bit to that as well, by the way, on the extras, I believe. And we need to do the extras episodes as well. So
yes. What else was there in Peter Kay thing? You had in Eyes Down, In the Club,
Mr. Softy,
Leonard,
the
arena.
Oh, it was Talent Trip was part of In the Club, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The arena, was
the arena. Yeah. I see, that was fair to middling, that episode for me. It was fair to middling on that one, and then it just went up shit creek for me.
Phoenix Nights Series 1, probably the first episode. There's just so many funny bits in that.
Holy bouncer.
The first three are like really strong.
Yes, they are.
Well, you've got that, you've got Cowboy Night, and then you've got Wild West Night, and then you've got whatever the third one was. Brain farting at the moment.
Is it Single Ladies Night? Is that a later one?
No, that's season 2. Hang on a minute. Let me get me notebook.
Singles Night even. Singles Night is one of them.
I actually do think I actually have to change my...
Episode 1 though, you've got like the captain.
Yeah, I think that's mine.
What door do you want me on tonight? Piss off.
Das Boot.
You've got Roy Walker. You've got Das Boot. You've got Punch her in the face.
Oh yeah. See,
I'm on the bus. Look at me, I'm on the bus.
You got them two carrying a ladder. She went down. I put Boot in. It's about a fucking parents' evening. Season 2.
It's fucking Clinton Baptiste, Keith Lard, episode 3.
Yeah.
I fucking forget, it was my fucking pick.
Season 2. See, it is the quiz one, but I can already differentiate from you two in a way.
Mm.
Like, I do like the final episode in a way, because it's like sort of Brian gets his comeuppance on Den Perry. And it's also like Kenny Senior dressed as Britney Spears, and that wasn't the hamper.
And also you've got $8,000.
Oh yeah, there is that $8,000.
Well, it's even like, it sounded like, did he say when he booked me? Well, it sounded like book. And then Max and Paddy either shit in your carburetor or the prison.
Yeah, that episode with Noddy
Boston's the name.
They do it in the boys.
Oh.
Les, Dennis.
Yeah, that is a very, very strong episode, to be fair.
Yeah, that's all's love across the way. You what? An hour? Bollocks. What do you mean an hour? We're just over the road. I realise we're not members, but come on, love, play the game.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
and that's literally what happens when you get us on a tangent. We just spout fucking quotes left, right, and centre.
But isn't that what Peter Kay's comedy's all about? It's all about quotes. You mention the line, and then you remember what happened because of that line, or the reason why that line exists, and then you piss yourself laughing because you realise where it's come from. You know, it's what it is. End of the day, and as Peter Kay fans, we do it all the time.
Yeah,
it's like you can't help but get yourself go into the freezer, and you're thinking. Maybe like, for example, when we have chili, homemade chili or pasta bake or something like that, we always have to go. You have to get it and go. Garlic bread. You can't help it. You can't help it. It's one of them. And because you watch his stand up as well, when someone gets a cheesecake out, now it's like cheese and cake.
Cheesecake. I'm gonna be cake and cheese.
Well, there's one of his new ones, to be fair, where someone did the garlic bread bit. Oh, that's not meant to me. I've got a new one now. It's plasma.
50-inch plasma for free. And then he just winks.
Well, there is also, before we actually do finish this,
yes.
There's one of the bits, it was on Facebook for ages when he was like doing his Back on Nights tour or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple where they'd been sat in the wrong seats or something, or the guy was like showing them to the seats, but he was getting too distracted by watching the show. And he's going, come on, follow me. I used to work here. He's like, right, you're looking at the tickets, going, you're over here. Come on, follow me. And they go, how old your hand? I'm not homophobic. I'm not scared of my house.
He wants some of them homophobic remedies. That's what it is.
Want to get yourself the citizen's advice and speak to your ombudsman. So,
don't.
Yeah, that has been pretty much the Peter Kay sort of Phoenix series, I guess we'd probably call it.
I'll call it the Peter Kay universe.
The PKU.
The PKU, yes, the PKU.
So, we do have other stuff in the pipeline. We're going to look at the outtakes of each season at some point.
Yes, we are. So we've mentioned the fitness DVD that they did, which was a spin-off.
We've got the Power of Two. There is other Peter Kay stuff we need to look at as well. We're probably not going to do the live stuff because it's a bit difficult to talk about a live show, especially stand-up.
Yeah. Like I said, we could talk about our favourite moments in stand-up maybe, perhaps, or something like that. We've also got some of the other stuff, the lesser-known stuff, like you've got the... I can never remember the title of it, but we mentioned it a few times. It's the thing where he introduced the character of Geraldine, where he actually released a Christmas #1 song from it.
Peter Kay's Strictly Pop Star Superstar Summer on Ice, whatever it's called. That super long name one.
Britain's got the pop factor.
There you
go.
The one. So we've
There's
got
that to look at. There's Driven to Distraction to look at.
Yeah. And if you fancy it, there's Car Share as well. Cox is not a fan of, but I love it. I love Car Share, so
we'll talk about it off the air.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off the air.
Well, it's plug time, boys.
It is. Louis, do you want to go first, mate?
Yeah, might as well. I don't really regularly stream anymore, but I'm on Twitch. I'm on YouTube, where a lot of the back catalogues of all my Twitch streams usually go on, where I've recently started a Star Wars podcast, just basically going through all the TV and film media of Star Wars. And it will be the destination for, hopefully, touch wood, around about this time next month, a very special RAD podcast live watch-along of the NFL draft.
All being well.
Which we're all being well. All being well, touch wood that I'm not back in work at that time. Could be, could not be. But that is possibly something in the pipeline. And I'm also on Twitter as well, where I just shoot the shit about anything from games to the two different kinds of football that I follow, as well as professional wrestling, provided what New Japan Pro Wrestling are doing that doesn't piss me off. Safe to say that they are doing their best to put me off the product. But yeah, all three of those, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, you can follow me at Loggers109.
Awesome. You can also find me on the as aforementioned RAD Live podcast. We're on all the major podcast catchers out there, such as Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Music, you name it, we're on there. We're on YouTube as well with the back catalogue all on there. You can find us on Twitter at UKRAD Podcast. We're on Facebook as well, which is getting a little bit more active. We do have an episode up with video, actually, on YouTube as well. So give that a look. It's absolute scream. And for the next time we do RAD, I actually do have a weird taste test lined up. Ooh. So it's very interesting. It involves drinks, which seem to be my favourite at the minute. So... Unless it's flavoured rock, which is interesting in itself. But yeah, you can find them all that on there. Other than that, really, the only thing for me to plug really is the other podcast occasionally that I'll go on if I'm needed, which is Gunpowder, Treason, No Plot. It's a Dungeons and Dragons real play podcast. You can find them on Twitter at Treason No, and you can find Bunkle, our good friend at Lost Art of Wrestling, Lost Art of Podcasting, and RAD now, as Clanless Rogar, and I think he's at Rogar GTMP.
He's no longer a boy.
He's no longer a boy. But yeah, that's me.
And of course, you can find the Lost Art of Podcasting on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Lost Art Podcast, and we're on Instagram at Lost Art of Podcasting. You can find our sister pod, The Lost Art of Wrestling, on Facebook, on Twitter as well, at LAOW Podcast. And you can email us at lostartofpodcasting@gmail.com. Phoenix Pod doesn't have its own anything yet because it requires time and effort that I haven't got. So, for the Phoenix Pod, I've been AXC.
I've been stupid and, depending on your viewpoint, sexy.
And I've been stowing away, as per usual.
It sounded like a book.
Oh, God. I'm only interested in his half a say, so if you can take yours, then...
Hold on, wait, I've got a bell somewhere.
Oh.
Uno mas.
I'm only interested in his half a say, so you can take yours and... Oh, dear.